Anyway. Always talking about this. Ah, yes, we're in China. Pretty sure. And that's it. That's all I remember. So. China and trying to be gay. Fucking money, eh? I'd love to have some one day. Love to be part of that someday. Oh, God. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. Dolores got the whole gang together. Yeah, that was it. We got a whole group. Still trying to be gay. Big brain. Big brain energy. Alright, that was apparently Crank's signal. Okay, Crank's picking some locks. Alright, he actually produced tools from the inside of his jacket. The government gonna give me all the money. Share beach. I wanted to roll my eyes, but Dolores shot me a quelling? Yeah, whatever. After a noisy eternity, the door opened to a very angry Chinese woman and her rifle. Back away slowly, with your hands raised, which seems like a good idea because she has a rifle. Try to stop Dolores escalating things. I also feel like she could escalate things horribly. But there's a gun pointing at my face. I'm gonna go with the back away. Dolores is probably gonna kill someone, but there it is. Dolores, Dagger, and Crank all whipped out their own weapons. Nice. I was too exasperated to be scared. Stop it, you ridiculous bunch of thugs. Crank moved as if to put his gun away, then realized Dolores wasn't moving and stopped. You're not ridiculous, I said to Dr. Liang. Jane Lee gave us your address. We tried to phone first, but you know how it is those days. I angled myself between Dr. Liang and Dolores, since I was almost certain she wouldn't shoot me. Get out of the way, said Dolores, furious. I knew that tone of voice. She really might shoot me. I'm gonna get shot. This is how the game ends. There's no more arcs. I get shot. But. Why is there a dot there? Alright, Dr. Liang looked terrified. At least the parts of her face I could see behind her gun was terrified. So I had to talk to her. She'd never met me, but I was beginning to feel like I had a better chance of survival with her than Dolores. The fact is, we need your help. We're not going to hurt you. I feel like saying we're not going to hurt you is a lie, because there's 3 guns trained on this woman, and saying we're not going to hurt you usually is how the killer normally starts going, I'm not going to kill you. Like, yeah, sure. That is exactly, you know, how it's going to go down. I need like one of those giant straws. Straw hat. I need one of those cool hats. That's what I need for streaming. We need your help. That's what I'm going with. Hoping that, she doesn't shoot me. The terror in her eyes faded, and Dr. Liang shifted her stance. I realised what she was doing just in time and shoved the toe of my shoe in the door just as she moved to slam it shut. That's going to be painful. Her steel-reinforced door slammed into my toe and I swallowed a roar of pain with difficulty. Dolores moved to push the door, but I threw out my arm to block her. She hit my arm hard and I didn't think it was because of slow reflexes. Just go away, said Dr. Liang, and then proved her fluency in English by swearing at us in our native tongue. Not for the first time. I longed for Moti's diplomat. Oh, that's right, Moti's missing as well. Oh yeah, forgot about that. The pain. Let me in and the others will go away, or I'll pay for your expertise. Is money worth... Is money going to be worth anything to this person to be like, hey, let us in? Or is it going to be like, hey, the crazy people will go away, but me, who shoved my foot in your door and is currently trying not to cry, would like to have a conversation? It could go either way. Let me in and the others will go away. Will the others go away, though? That is the question. Or I'll pay for your expertise. Does she need the money? Then again, the world did just collapse. So, not money. So we're saying top. I can't see money helping. We'll go with let me in. Really? She said. I don't know why it's being a laggy little bitch. This game cost me like 60p. I glared at Dolores until she stepped back, nodding at the other two to put their guns away. There's a breeze. Dr. Liang opened the door a crack. I slipped through and we both shoved the door closed. Dr. Liang had 3 locks on the door and we fastened them all. This isn't generally my first question to a new acquaintance. But are you also armed? I assured her I was not. Can I sit down now? No one has stopped sobbing because someone said I'll pay you to do some work. I mean, I normally stop because I hear I'll pay you and then I start crying again when they say to do some work. So it's a fair trade. Please do, she said and motioned with her gun towards a charming breakfast nook with city views. Do you know what a lovely home you have? Lame was saying. Are you at work right now, Lance? Should you be working right now? What do you want? She said. I'm trying to find out the truth of what happened to the missing astronaut. She barked out a laugh. So am I. She finally put down her gun, and I felt the worst of the tension leave my body. You're here looking for knowledge, really. Waz is on company time. Wow, you must be a psychic. I know you too well. I know you too well. I just sort of picture you in like even in a little cubicle. You've got 2 screens. You just do. You've got work on one. You've got the stream on the other, and like one little little headphone in, and you're just like typing away, and then occasionally you're like, huh, and then other typing. Honestly, you're not far off. I knew it. I'd do the same. That was like me when I would watch, I'm working from home though. Cubicle. It's like when I would watch Matt. I'd be at work and I'd lean my tiny little phone up against, the donut stand. And that is how I watch it. When people come in, I'd have to turn it down because I didn't have Bluetooth headphones that were tiny. So I'd just be like, yeah, yeah. And there's even times where I've played Among Us. And I'm just like, no one's coming in and playing Among Us. But I always do. I like it. My cubicle at work is like 5 foot by 5 foot. Oh, it's me size. It's a little only tinier than me. Meech. Oh, cubicles. That's what the woman at Job Centre today was like. She was like, what about, like, you know, doing office work and all that? And all like a picture was sitting in, like, a little thing, like, she's got a little desk, cubicle thing. And I was like, in the politest way, yeah, probably if it's on computers. But also at the same time, no. I know how desperate you are for me to get a job. But no. I can touch both walls with my arms outstretched. Jeez. God damn. Is it at least worth the money? That's all that matters. Yes and no, and I see some gaps that's all I'm afraid I don't understand. Some of NASA's information is publicly available, but all the stuff about the International Space Station stopped being publicly available after the first sun outage. A lot of things began failing at that point, but in retrospect it suggests that the astronaut died then. That is quite depressing. It is depressing. He died when he was still on the space station. That's a long time to hide a body. Is he dead? Still on the space station? Yes. Oh. Okay. Do you have any idea what happened? Oh, I'm going to move it here. Do you have any idea what happened to him? Even just rumours. That's one of the odd things. No one wants to talk about him. I do. I don't think the particular cover-up is just a matter of keeping people calm or saving face after a screw-up. I think this astronaut is related to the sun outage, and not just in the timing. I think there's some crucial piece missing, some mystery about his death that will help us understand the sun outage incidents. She looked at me thoughtfully for a long time. I wondered where the talkative Dr. Liang of her reputation had gone. You're not just curious, she said, not even just compassionate for his friends or family, or determined that the truth needs to be told. There's something off about this whole situation. I believe the truth about this one man might save our son for the rest of us. I mean, both are true. Like, there is something off about this whole situation because they're telling people he survived and he died on the space station. But he's now feels like he's been sacrificed. In space. Is that weird? Probably. But I feel like he's been sacrificed in space. I swear to God, that kid's gonna get sacrificed to space in a minute. Oh, I hope he dies. Working from home has been pretty nice for that reason. Oh, yeah, I love being at home. I'm gonna be so screwed if I have to go back to work. Space! Love that for him. It's just the space. Eeny, meeny, miny. I'm gonna go with... I'm actually just gonna go with the top. Alright, I'll help you. Oh, that was easy. Yes, sorted. Done. Thank you, I said. I was lost without Moti, but perhaps Dr. Liang knew how to move forward. Now that she wasn't actively pointing her gun at me, I relaxed enough to look around her apartment. Bit by bit, I realised it didn't add up. Dr. Liang's friends had told us she was unmarried and had no children, yet there were family pictures on the walls in at least 3 bedrooms. The apartment was high-end, decorated with modern art, and with so many marble surfaces, it stopped just shy of being tacky. It felt more like a showroom than a home, and when I leaned forward to sneak a peek into one of the bedrooms, I realised it was perfectly empty. Dr. Liang noticed the silence shifted position, freeing her hand. I hoped she wouldn't pull out her gun again. This isn't your home. How do you think we should... Straight up, this isn't your home. You don't live here. This is where I live. No. Sent a photo of my office in the Discord. Alright, I'm on it. Oh, no, that's me ordering medication. No, thank you. Oh, that's actually a very cute little setup. Oh, it's the rocket for me. And it's the bloody Lego one. This is well cute. Fancy. Oh my God, look at all your fancy stuff. Don't mind me, I'm now just gonna gander around what you've shown me. Get into, get into the head of Waz. Oh, I like the desk. I like the desk. Sparkles. Have some sparkles. Bought that while unemployed with my last 200. Don't think about how much it will cost me. Like, what, the rocket? Is it Saturn 5? Oh God, I sold these things for years and I could not tell you. We can get you some discounted Lego, 25% off. Oh, Laura, you drove a hard bargain. We can't, I don't think actually we can physically get any more. I'm pretty sure Gabriel's racked up Mal's points enough that he will be cut off if he spends any more. Yes, it is the Saturn 5. That was 200. I would have loved that discount. Yeah, okay, yeah. I have to admit, I've played with the Saturn 5 while working and showed everyone, yeah, it's actually a pretty good build. I won't lie. Unfortunately, you can't see any of my Lego. I've got my figures, my Solo Millennium Falcon, and my Rexcelsior on here. Every other bit of my Lego is in the kitchen. Or in bags behind my couch, because I've not built some of the stuff I got for free. I've got the Jurassic Park gate, I've got dinosaurs, I've got little play sets. Most of them I've not spent any money on. I've got the Fisherman Shack, which I didn't spend any money on, and it had a few missing pieces. Brickheads, couple of little sets. I never bought anything too big except for the gate. I've already bought the ISS Space Shuttle Discovery and Apollo 11 Lunar Lander, so a little too late. Yeah, it's actually technically 50% off. But it wouldn't make a difference because it would have to get sent here, and then by the time we send it to you, it would be the same amount of money spent, it would just not be worth it. Crying. It's beautiful to still having someone, work at Lego. Whereas pretty much everybody else left. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if I was to add up every set I own, and if I could remember what I got for free, take it off, and then the rest divide, I'd have spent nothing. I'm pretty sure I've still got bags of Lego with Lego Movie 2 sets in it. Yeah, I think the Jurassic Park gate was the last thing I bought with my discount before I left. I got very lucky that there was a day for it. Most of it, though, I do have 75 quids, give or take, worth in VIP points. Or because my brother bought, within a span of probably under a year, I think he sent me a good couple of grand. He bought the Star Destroyer. He bought little sets, big sets. He bought everything. As soon as he found out I could. And he was still buying them even with Mouse stuff. We were proper hustling Lego. It was a lot of fun. And now I'm buying stuff for my best friend's friend. It's easy. Easy money. Anyway. No one expects a career academic to live in a place like this, so after my own home was bombed, I moved here. Once Santiago was killed, I relaxed, mostly. I glanced at her gun. I couldn't help it. Those thugs outside the door, are they any use? Oh, I'd completely forgotten about them. Yes, I believe they're used for threats, kidnapping, and so on. I think we'd better invite them in. My friend and I like to pretend we're gung-ho? Gung-ho? Yeah, and plan ways to find out the truth about that astronaut, but we're just not convincing as gun-toting thugs. You were perfectly convincing, believe me. Really? Well, good. I imagine the reason you came to see me is that someone told you about the thing with Tanya. Go on. I actually thought it was the US government after me the first time someone tried to kill me. It was only after they blew up my old house that I realised no one cared much about high-level hacking, just the results. I wish Moti was still on my wrist so I could confirm everything she said. I wondered again if Dolores was wearing my emoticon. I'm afraid I don't know who Tanya is. Right, okay, Moti, I love you, but we need to know who this Tanya is, because I do not have a clue. Tanya is the reason you're here. My friends know it, even if you don't. Tanya who? Come on, there's little point giving you her phone number these days, and I'm certainly not going to let you go and threaten her at her home address. But it's nearly lunch, and I know her routine. We can meet her at her restaurant. I brightened up at the thought of lunch, thinking of sweet and sour stir-fry, chicken with cashews, or maybe beef with plum sauce, or honey chicken. Oh, honey chicken. Dr. Liang had put on a jacket and picked up a handbag. Well, I stood after you. She shook her head. You'd better let your muscle know we're coming out so don't shoot us both. It's like you know them already. Dolores, Dagger, Crank, we're coming out. Don't shoot. Yeah, sure. Please don't shoot us. Fine. Rude. The four of us got a taxi together to Tanya's favourite... Okay. Basic maths. Welcome to Beijing. Everyone comes here. I haven't been. We piled out of the taxi and the heat hit us like a ton of bricks. Concrete bricks, judging by the dull smog hanging heavier than ever. It's so hot. Tanya shrugged, hot enough that our official weather disagrees with the rest of the world. What do you mean? When the fuck did she turn up? When the fuck did she turn up? According to the official weather channels, the temperature never rises above 40 degrees Celsius. That's 104 degrees Fahrenheit. She paused to smile slightly as Dolores emitted a louder, more heartfelt moan. It can create some fascinating temperature graphs. Impartial weather services graph a temperature curve each day. Typically, the highest temperature occurs in the afternoon. However, on very hot days, our official weather graphs rise in temperature from dawn until around 9 AM, then plateau at exactly 104 degrees until sunset. It's either a fascinating phenomenon or your government lies about how hot it is. Are they so childish? You are from the USA, aren't you? Yeah. Touche. Touche. Oh, but it's true now. R.I.P. to American government. Dr. Liang smiled gently. I mean no offense. You must miss your home country. I wouldn't say no to a decent hamburger. We walked into the restaurant and I spotted Tanya at once. Pretty sure I was right when they were when did we meet her, but they must have put her name in by mistake, because I'm pretty sure Tanya just said about the weather, and yet now we're meeting her. So I don't think that's actually correct. She was a full head taller than everyone around her, with waist-length hair coloured in neon blue, and she was laughing so loudly at a quip from a waitress that her wooden table was shaking, setting the salt and pepper and MSG shakers rattling. Keep your guns hidden, I murmured, and went to sit with the American immigrant. Things just got real, said Dr. Liang to a friend. May I introduce our muscle? Tanya stared at the sour-faced dagger, imposing Dolores and thickly muscled Crank before turning her curious gaze to me. They're armed and you're not. I flinched, hoping no one else in the restaurant was as observant of concealed weapons. She's your boss, Tanya went on. But you don't fully trust her and you don't fully obey her, and someone is missing who usually works with you, the brains of the outfit. Is that why you've come to me? Jesus Christ. Even Moti's abstinence was obvious to this woman. Yes, we need your help. Well, actually, technically, Dr. Liang said would be good use, so not happening. Why are you flickering? Stay alive. She glanced at Dr. Liang, who gave her a reluctant nod of approval. Not here, she said, and I'd like you to prove yourselves to me before I put my own neck on the line. I'm listening, I said slowly. What is it you want? She took an enormous bite of a hamburger and followed it with a long drink of Coke. My supervisor hasn't paid me in a month. I want last month's pay and 2 more months paid in advance. And I want you to do it without hurting anyone. Easy, said Dolores. Check your bank balance when you've had dinner, then meet us at the airport. Tanya raised her eyebrows. If you're planning on travelling anywhere by air, it'll be tricky. You practically need your own private jet these days. Well, we have one. We can take you where you need to go. Alrighty, well, have fun with my boss and see you tonight. We said goodbye and moved to a distant table to eat our own lunch and make a plan. Dr. Liang stayed with Tanya and we heard the blue-haired American laughing as they discussed. Let's go shake down that boss, or transferring money from one account to another should be a breeze. They say not to get anyone murdered, but like a good shakedown. Good shakedown ain't gonna hurt anybody, right? Hope not. I thought you'd never ask. Shall we? None of us could think of a reason to delay, so we simply finished our lunch and caught a taxi to the gleaming edifice, yeah, that housed Beijing's best of astrophysicists. The English translation was man of space and fast items. Man of space and fast items. Ah. Well, that's a tattoo. I assumed it sounded better in Mandarin. Probably did. We decided to combine the interrelated invasion strategies of Idiot Foreigner with Front Door Approach and a modified Walk Like You Know What You're Doing. Dolores took an elaborate hat out of one of her bags and put on glasses, then passed out glasses to the rest of us. Thus disguised, we strode inside, noting the cameras and security guards before making a beeline to the lift. Turning a deaf ear to the obvious protests of the security desk, he was speaking in a combination of Mandarin, English, and what sounded like German. We stepped inside the lift and talked loudly to one another about the weather as the doors closed. The lift had a colour-coded map indicating the sub-departments within the building. Head directly to Human Resources. Head directly to the office of Tanya's supervisor. Aren't we meant to be going to see the boss? So wouldn't we just go directly to the supervisor? Or are they trying to do that whole, like, go to human resources, they'll sort it out? I feel like someone's going to get shot. I don't know, Dolores seems trigger happy. I feel like I'm going to breathe, and the boss is going to be like, no, and she's going to like, bang. I can just see it happening. But, you know, we'll go straight there, see what happens. I pushed the button for the executive floor, walked down a carpeted hall and paused outside the door of Tanya's boss. I didn't want to go in and terrorize the man behind the door, but I couldn't think of a better plan. The floor-to-ceiling windows at the end of the hall had glorious views blurred by the endless smog. I missed Moti desperately. Moti always knew what to say regardless of the language. Snap out of it, said Dolores. Give me back my watch, bitch. She was right, of course. I knocked on the door and let myself in, with the others behind me. The man at the desk looked up from his computer. I could only see his eyes and forehead behind the screen. Hello, I said. Are you Mr. Howe? I'm going to say Howe. Yes, who are you? Do you even work here? No, bitch. No, let's take this calmly. Are you aware some of the pay hasn't gone through recently? Yeah, let's take it calmly. You haven't been paying your employees, so you're going to pay them right now. Plus, that's not what I said. No, that's not what I said. I was going to do it nicely. Oh, I understand the back pay. There were issues at the bank. Terribly sorry about that, but why 2 months more? Trust. Your employees want to feel secure and you failed them. 3 months altogether? That's right, and do it now, immediately. He typed a little more before glancing up again. Did Tanya send you? Tanya who? That's just playing dumb. Tanya who? Don't know this Tanya. Or don't, but then again, don't talk. Just, what the bloody light? Don't talk, just deposit the pay. Is basically saying, yes, Tanya sent me. Because you're not saying no. You're not saying yes. But everyone's like, well, yes. Yeah. Funny things under my Xbox. I'm getting distracted. Yeet. Eeny, meeny, miny. Mo. He raised his hands in a gesture. I'm sorry, I didn't mean anything by it. Alright. Moments later, the deed was done and we left his office. After another overheated taxi ride, we were back in our luxurious home away from home. Poor guy. Nah, screw that man. He didn't pay. Dagger and Crank had discovered the joy of home delivery Chinese. And we all ate until our stomachs hurt. I even tried the alarmingly named 1,000-year-old egg and enjoyed its vinegary tang as long as I wasn't looking at the black colour. I could go for some Chinese food. I could always go for a good bit of Chinese. I could always. Fun fact, it's actually American food. That sounds about right. Nothing is ever right anymore. My back is killing me. Let's move you forward so I can lean. Oh, that's better. After dinner, Tanya showed up. Oh, now I want food, but I'm not even hungry. Ugh. My pay's in my account already. Well done. If this project gets me fired, I'll be just fine. You could disguise yourself easily just by cutting off your hair. She shook her head, setting the neon lengths flashing in the jet's fluorescent lights. This is me. I'll deal with the consequences if I'm caught. Oh, okay. We introduced her to everyone in the jet, and I realised that not a single person was missing. Etienne the park warden, Wong the Aetheryte leader, all the other Aetherytes, Chase from the Children of Gaia, Matron or Miss Enomoto from Japan, Crank, Dagger, and Dolores. Was Moti hidden among my friends, even as they smiled right at me? Or was my precious emoticon already long gone, taken by someone who went to Moscow? I couldn't help thinking of Sharon. But I dismissed the thought at once. She only just learnt to let go of Chrissy, so why still Moti now? Tanya was looking at me expectantly, as if she just asked me a question. I'm sorry, could you say that again? Dr. Liang was right to send you to me. There were always rumours about my department hacking NASA, but of course many of them were true. But I know more than that. I know that we got the full recording from the missing astronaut. Really? What did it say? I don't know, the files were destroyed. Alright. Get fucked. I heard a ringing in my ears at the awful news, but Tanya just shook her head at my desperate expression and carried on with her story. There is a copy of the recording, but it's not here in Beijing, or even at Wenchang's satellite launch center. They've gone old school and put it to... fuck off. It's a physical copy, so it can't be hacked. We need to actually go there. Where's that? I like Y'all's enthusiasm, but it's not as simple as that. She tucked her blue hair behind one ear. There are a lot of different ways to get to fuck that. We have a private jet. Why wouldn't we use it? Surely a place that close to a launch site has an airport. Tanya put up her hands in a placating gesture. Yes, the jet will no doubt be useful, even though the actual launch site is quite a distance from the city. But a jet will also get you noticed a lot sooner, and that's not going to help us. I sighed. Of course it wasn't going to be easy. Are you sure they don't have a digital copy? Everything nowadays is digital. Tanya scoffed as if I had said something funny. Not the fuck that launch site. It's more or less retired, so it hasn't updated most of its systems. Something didn't add up. Why would a copy of a recording be sent to a retired launch site? Bureaucracy. Also, it's not completely retired yet. They're keeping it as a backup. Are we doing this or not? Of course. So how do we get to fuck that if not by private jet? By road, like everyone else. We could buy a small van and take it in turns to drive. Some of your crew could fly over separately, since I imagine we'll want to leave hastily once we've stolen the recording. Won't that draw attention to those of us who are still in the jet? It'll keep attention away from the rest of us. Why do you keep looking at your wrist anyway? Oh, am I? Yes, said Wong. A bit, said Etienne, you're supposed to be on my side. You're supposed to be on my side. Etienne, how could you? Beach. Constantly. Dolores, fuck off! I caught myself glancing at Moti for my assistance. Of course my wrist was bare. My emoticon was stolen, I said. You owned a emoticon? If I'd known that, I'd have charged you for my services. It was more than just a emoticon. Moti was special. Moti is special, like a friend. And I'm gonna find Moti somehow. Tanya frowned. Alright, fuck you. Examining my face as if to check my sanity. I didn't care what she thought. She cleared her throat to change the subject. So... transport. I think it's smarter to... Yikes. Yikes. It's just him crying. Everyone's like, so how do we save the world? And he's like, Moti! Why? Little tantrum there. Little tantrum. I would cry too. Then again, I just yell at Siri 24/7 when she doesn't work. So I'd be alright. If it worked, maybe. I think it's smarter to travel by road. Whatever's going on in those stairs or upstairs is a problem. I'm not really comfortable with driving, so I'll stick with the plane. I feel like I'm the main bit of this game. I feel like I want to be there. Tanya waved off my concerns about driving, saying I get used to trying to sit enough. I just thought, oh Jesus Christ, are you starting to stick already? Tried to tell her it wasn't the country that was the problem, but the vehicle, any vehicle. She didn't appear to hear me, but I realised she was one of those people that won every argument by applying selective deafness with perfect timing. Will Dr. Liang be joining us? Tanya nodded. This is more dangerous for her since she's a Chinese citizen, but I talked to her this afternoon and she decided to come and make sure we were all alright. After some discussion, we decided that Etienne and I would travel with Tanya and Dr. Liang, as well as armed trio of Dolores, Dagger, and Crank. Matron, Chase, Wong, and the other Atherites still had things to do in Beijing and would catch up with us later, bringing the jet with them. Turned out Matron was a pilot, you know, she just suddenly is. Dolores lent Etienne one of her guns and lent me another. I wondered exactly how many guns she brought with her. It was already dark, but Etienne said he was happy to take the first shift of driving. And now we're going to sing songs and hold hands. We met Dr. Liang at an all-night car yard on a street that was bustling with shoppers and late-night diners. Beijing's nightlife seemed even more vibrant than the cosmopolitan chaos I've seen during the day. Within an hour, we, or at least Dr. Liang, owned a rusted old van. After 2 hours of traffic misery, I was beginning to wish I'd taken the jet. We finally broke free of the city, heading almost due west, and found ourselves stuck behind a motorbike loaded down with all 4 members of a young family. The motorbike, by an extension of a van, was boxed in by 2 semi-trailers. One of them inched forward and finally got out of our way. The motorbike swerved to the left of the side of the road, aiming to let us pass. It twisted onto the gravel, and one of the children went flying, while the rest of the family skidded along the ground. Etienne paled, making his olive skin turn sallow. Yeah, sallow. Whatever. What should I do? What should we do? Should we help this family, or should we just keep going? Because I don't trust kids in the slightest. Fuck them. I don't want to fuck them. It was either help them or go past them once. Not everything is about fucking. Not everything's about getting fucking dirty. So we're just saying we'll keep going. Just ignore them. Be like, yeah, they'll be fine. Everything is about fucking and you know it. God fucking damn it. I try so hard. Alright, keep going. I can't just drive past. Oh, for God's sake. Etienne, darling, baby, honey cakes. You're an idiot. The children couldn't have been more than 10. What a shame. And they were sobbing. The smaller of the two was going to have a scar from the gash on her arm. Oh, what a shame. As Etienne approached, she stared at his Middle Eastern features in fascination, and her sobs grew calmer. Etienne spoke to her softly in English until her father came running. His shirt and jacket were shredded and he was missing a shoe. He grabbed his younger child up in his arms, and ran back to join the rest of his family, casting a suspicious glance over his shoulder at us. All 4 members of the family were shouting over one another, and another car stopped to offer bandages and a ride. The conversation sounded increasingly boisterous? That's a word, right? Everyone had a different plan to help, and they certainly didn't need us. We got back in the van and we kept driving, so why did we even pull over? All of us slept at some point, and all of us drove. The sun rose and we ate and drove and ate again. My body ached from spending such a long time in the van with only short breaks. Etienne was kind enough to sit beside me and talk for my entire 4-hour shift at the wheel. You know I hate driving. Oh, what a man. We all hate driving by the end. And when Tanya stopped on the side of the road, my first thought was that she'd simply had enough. The others just landed the jet on a nearby airfield. They said they're being watched, so they won't be joining us. Seems like going by ground was the right call, said Etienne, smiling at me. Oh. We're nearly at the launch site. Did you want to bribe our way inside or climb the fence? Liang, Etienne, and Dagger wanted to bribe. Dolores, Crank, and Tanya preferred tackling the fence. I had the deciding vote. I do not. I'm gonna let you guys have the deciding vote. So, first thing I hear, let's see what happens. Let's see what we're getting. Just know that Etienne's going for first. Laura says climb the fence. We're going to climb the fence. We're going to climb the fence. Or is Spas just saying, ugh. Seems fun. Show me the money. Oh, of course you'd go for a bribe, wouldn't you? I have coin. Okay. Heads for bribe. Tails for fence. Seems fair, right? I have a coin. Not gonna drop this one. It's for bribe. Tails for fence. And it's heads. We're going with bribes. I'm sorry, Laura. Wait, hold on. What was it? Oh no, she's gone. That coin. I'm so that coin's gone. It's gone. Yeah, that one's gone. I'll find it another day. We had plenty of American dollars, a few other random currencies, and very few Chinese RMB. Tanya took Dolores to an ATM that could take her card, and the rest of us waited, trying not to let our nerves get the better of us. Etching came and sat beside me. That accident. I cringed, ashamed that I asked him to drive on after the young family fell off their bike. You were right, he said. They were fine, but... I know. It's like I've been focused on saving the Earth for so long I've forgotten that individual people have value. He put a hand on my shoulder. This is it, lads. Maybe this is it. You also have value, by the way. Try not to get yourself shot, okay? Kiss him. I miss Moti. Oh, for fuck's sake! Stop ruining the mood! Dude, I'm trying to... Like what I said, it's all about the fucking. I don't... God fucking damn it. This... This guy... Stop crying about your watch, pussy. He could be having a heart to heart with a man, and he's like, oh, I miss Moti. I miss my boy. My boy. Oh, that thing is a better human than most humans. I bow my hair, glad I hadn't corrupted my device too badly. Oh, Jesus Christ. Tanya and Dolores arrive at various... hidden, words. We rested overnight and made our move early in the morning. We walked up to the locked front gate of the launch complex, and Tanya had a whispered conversation with two guards checking over us. They took the money and stopped patting us down before they found our guns, which was a relief. One of them kept talking to Tanya, and it was clear she was telling him a lot more about our goal than I was comfortable with. The man, a Mr. Came with us carrying his own weapon in plain view with a strap on his back. Dr. Liang gave us a reassuring nod. It seemed we made a friend. Maybe he could be a new, Moti. Tanya drifted closer to me. Mr. and I met once before. He wants to make a difference. Is that okay with everyone? He'll be useful here. Yeah, right. Fair enough. Let's just trust this man. Fuck that launch center. Looked every bit of its 50-odd years of age. Two enormous phallic structures. The launch array at one end and the main building at the other, with lower buildings clustered all around it. It was immediately obvious that the distance between the two was specifically designed to protect the main building if a satellite exploded on launch. The thought wasn't especially reassuring. There were several colourful placards here and there that were obviously designed to cater to tourists, except there weren't any tourists to fuck that. It had been closed to tourism for months. The front door of the building was an obvious focus for security, so we circled around to the left, trying our best to look natural despite being a group consisting mainly of non-locals. We were all within easy view of anyone on the right side of the building. At least, we spotted a half-open window to a break room. Oh, at last, sorry. The smell of burnt popcorn told us why the window had been open. It seemed China's microwave popcorn was all too similar to our own. There was also an unguarded door, but it clearly required a security pass. Mr. produced a plastic pass and gestured for us to follow. Nah, do you know what? Let's use his pass. If we die, we die. No alarms blared at our intrusion, and I breathed a sigh of relief. We moved deeper into the building, following Tanya's lead. I felt twitchy the instant we left natural light behind us. The concrete walls had been painted several decades ago. The grey paint faded to the harsher concrete, remaining solid only at the top of the walls, where passers-by couldn't accidentally wear it away with millions of accidental touches over the decades. Our footsteps echoed against the cold walls despite the cheap carpet. This would have been a good one to have, like, soundboards for. Or, like, Matt's voice mod. To do, like, cool shit. Need to steal it off him. We heard low voices and the chatter of computer keyboards behind many of the doors. I wondered how anyone could keep such a secret. Fuck's sake, was. Exactly. Fart noises. I wouldn't abuse it. I nearly had. You know, I had voice mod for a while, but I had, like, the illegal version because I wanted to try it before I paid for it, and the free one was shit. And I never. It took as long as Matt took to get it to work through anything. But also I don't have like Stream Decks or anything. For him and his fart noises. My Blue Yeti now has its own version of voice mod. Oh, what does that consist of? Is it just you holding a speaker up? But I'm so fed up with it, I can't even be bothered to set it up. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, see, the Yeti was the one I was going to go for. I guess, is that what Matt uses? Because Matt's is a Yeti, is it not? Or is his a different one? Yeah, no, his, okay, so his is it. So I'm guessing that's what he uses. Save yourself the headache. Yeah, believe me, I'm happy with this. I am happy with my £30 bitch. I'll just get voice mod myself if I'm that desperate. But I do like Mike. Yeah, I'm glad I never spent all that money. I'm so glad. After 4 flights of concrete stairs, we took a short break under a flickering light. Certain physical objects are kept in storage vault here, including the full recording from the astronaut. Only people with a certain clearance can get into the storage vault. Do you want to threaten one of those people directly? What's the alternative? We could threaten the ID makers so they increase the clearance on mine. Let's abduct someone with high clearance. Let's get your clearance increased. What do you think we should do? Abduction or clearance? I feel like I think as well, if I ever want to do another one of these games, I am going to do it just by flipping a coin. Like every answer. Flick, 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 and it has to be done. One day. Maybe a shorter version. But I feel like that would be a lot of fun. Abduction seems extreme. Let's do that. Anyone would think there'll be some morals here, but there are no morals. Who has morals? As a government employee, I can tell you right now, getting your clearance increase will take 7 weeks and about 1 million emails, so yeah, abduction. Abduction is. Good to know that as a government employee, we can have your support on stealing files. Okay, said Tanya and took a deep breath. This is where things get a mite tricky. I automatically checked that my gun's safety was on. I'd encountered a lot of violence lately, but carrying a loaded weapon was something that I'd always took seriously. The gesture wasn't lost on Tanya, who gulped and looked away. She had been so cheerful and calm. I hadn't worried about the possibility of her choking under pressure. Until now. There's this guy. He likes Westerners, so I think he'll be easier to convince than the rest. Mr. made a derisive, yeah, comment in Chinese. Yes. He'd like to marry an American, ideally, me. He's easy to pick out, gesturing at her hair as she continued leading up the stairs. Last time I saw him, he was using the same bleach and blue dye that I use. It'll look suspicious if he's seen to be leaving his office with me, so I'll need to stay outside where you do all the gun-toting thing. I'll stay with you because we know that's, he's not, our character's not gonna fulfill anything. Dolores waited until Dagger and Crank nodded their readiness, then they all charged through the office door with guns held high. I heard screams and shouting in Chinese. Dolores shouted over them all and then lowered her voice to a menacing growl. Moments later, Dagger and Crank emerged with our target trembling between them. Tanya immediately stepped in front of him and spoke in rapid-fire Chinese. His eyes widened, and then he nodded. Dolores joined us a moment later, closing the door behind her. Let him go. He'll help us. He seemed drunk with relief that no one was going to start shooting, and I didn't blame him. I was shaking, and I was one of the aggressors. He was impressed that Tanya had thought to illegally increase her own security clearance rather than break into the storage vault herself, and had her upgraded in minutes. You lied. It took him minutes. Under the circumstances, we had to keep him with us. Thanks to our hostage, we walked right into the security vault. It was a creepy place, with narrow aisles and no windows. Everything was covered with a thick layer of dust. I saw yellowed photographs of a dissected monkey and something unrecognizable that had been pickled in a jar the size of my head. We whispered despite knowing we were alone, following an obscure filing system that had been somehow written out entirely by hand. Some entries were in Russian instead of Mandarin. Most of the shelves were empty. I accidentally knocked into one and the metal shelf rang like a bell. At last we found the right spot and stood in a row, staring at the place where the dust had been disturbed by two small objects. Thumb drives, perhaps. This is it. They made 2 copies and kept them here for months. But we're too late. Oh, great. A waste of my time. Look for clues. We're not giving up. The Chinese brought their space program from the Russians. Fun fact. Oh. That is a fun fact. I didn't know that. I knew that they had connections. Like, I knew that there was something. I just didn't know what. Not for the first time I wish Moti was with me. Well, really? Moti could read Chinese, for one thing, and often saw things that I'd missed. What did I miss this time? I made Tanya explain and translate the file-in system. We were in the copies of destroyed material section. I looked all along the shelf for other sign of disturbance in the dust, but there were none. I got on my hands and knees and looked under the shelves in case something had fallen down. Something had. Why don't they just marry the bloody phone? It's not the phone, it's the watch. It's not connected. The phone's not connected. It's just the watch. And even though watches have a vibrating setting, it's not for everyone. Watch, whatever, same thing. Little different. I think probably his watch is more fucking intelligent than the phone. A thumb drive. Hey, free shit. Blinging away the dust, I stretched my arm under the shelf and just managed to hit the thumb drive with one outstretched finger. I heard it back to the light. Do you think, could it be? An alarm blared somewhere far below. Okay, they don't have fire stairs here, but they do have equipment elevator that only a moron would use. Shall we? We followed her run past a circular window and into an enormous elevator that I could readily believe was used to transport parts of a shuttle. The doors took almost a minute to close, and as it was suddenly clear why only a moron would use this particular elevator. It was the longest ride of my life, and there wasn't a thing any of us could do to speed it up. Several people chewed on their fingernails. Dagger loaded and unloaded a gun, which appeared to soothe her, but had the opposite effect on the rest of us. At last, the double doors opened, and we were at the rear building facing the launch pad. I'm also facing the launch pad, but he's a duck. We ran full pelt to the closest section of the fence, and our new Chinese friend helped us climb over before coming over himself. Split up. Nice meeting you. Dolores, Dagger, Crank, and I ran one way, and Dolores' group went Tanya's group went the other. We all agreed to meet up at the private jet. Dolores' emoticon helped us navigate once we finally hit some cover and were safe enough to either hire a car or hike to the jet. Walk. Low tech is safer. Hire a car. We need to get out of the area fast. Where are we going to get a car from? I thought we were in it, like, what car salesman is hanging around a freaking launch site? Like, where am I getting a car from? Like, I bet it's going to be, though, like, oh, if you walk, you have to walk for 40 days and all of this crap. But honestly, like, the logical thing is, where am I getting a car from? I mean, low-tech is safer. That is a smart move. But the car. Magic car. Yeah, but where is this magic car coming from? We'll try it. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with the magic car. Doesn't even tell me. Just go kill myself. Alright, thanks to the flawed communication systems, it was difficult to catch fugitives like us. I'd like to think we'd stolen something that didn't officially exist. I took out the meek-looking flash drive that we'd hoped would bring us another step closer to the restoring of the sun. It was strange to literally hold Earth's fate in my hand. Thinking of a small piece of technology made my chest tighten, with longing to have Moti back on my wrist. Oh, for God. I'm not even going to get fuck Etienne, am I? Because he's going to fuck the watch. Or sulking or lecturing me. Anything would be better than the emptiness I faced. I just want Etienne. I want an actual man. I expected everyone who had ever been on board. Blah, 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 blah. Everyone in the plane was squeezed into one small room except for Dagger, who monitored channels from the control tower to keep an eye out for pursuit. For a mad moment, I wondered if the thumb drive would contain nothing but the latest Chinese pop album. Until I can find Moti, I can't trust any of you. I'm playing it alone. This man's is hung up on a watch. I would be pissed, though. But, hung up on a watch? How the fuck did it become 9 o'clock? Jesus, this game goes by like it's nothing. Play it for everyone. It makes sense to play it for everyone, though, because we are meant to be working together. And no offense, if Moti goes missing, Moti is not worth the end of the world. I love him, but he's not worth it. In the nicest way. It is also weird not seeing him on the side of the screen. So, I'm just gonna play it. My hands were unsteady, and I sympathised with a million internet memes about the impossibility of inserting a thumb drive on the first try or the second. Finally, I had it, and I clicked on the icon to open it, hoping desperately that it was compatible with Dolores' computer. It was. It opened, but it was only a sound file. No matter. It was the astronaut's words that mattered, surely. Of course, it would be in Italian, so I switched on the translation program. The astronaut's voice was as clear as if he was speaking to me on the telephone. His terror was palpable. Where are you? What happened? This is Luca. Please tell me I'm not blind. No, I'm not. I can see everything. Too much. What's happening to me? Oh, it's saved me from this fate. Is anyone else seeing this? You have to see this. I understand now. Everything we thought we knew is wrong. Hello? Hello? Anyone? Oh, no. I played it again, and then a third time. Checked the translation manually. We were right. The recording was absolutely crucial. But I still had no idea what it meant. Luca's final words echoed in my head. Everything we thought we knew is wrong. What happened out there? What did Luca see when the sun went out? Why did he sound so afraid? Oh, there goes Arc 11. I'm hoping we can get through Arc 12 before 10 o'clock. And the team is still together. There was an option for the team not to be together? Oh. I listened to the Lost Astronaut's final message over and over, running it through an array of different translations to confirm I understood every nuance of what he said. He was so afraid. He was so surprised. I'm not blind. I can see everything. You have to see this. I understand now. Everything we thought we knew is wrong. Dolores found me at 3 AM, still playing the recording over and over with my head in my hands. She woke me by pushing my elbow until I lost balance and fell, waking up just as my face hit the keyboard. Tears sprung to my eyes, a childish reaction to minor pain on top of a heavy load of frustration and despair. I rubbed my face embarrassed. Dolores had already yanked the thumb drive from the computer. Did you do it? She asked again. Is this the reason my jet won't go? Won't go? What do you mean? Something's done something to my private jet. It won't start. Oh. I felt myself waking up as I considered the implications. The internet's been unusually functional. Could that have let something in? We're stranded after we just stole doubly classified information. We're stranded. She blew out a long sigh. We may need to scatter. I'll leave Dagger and Crank to take the fall, if you'll pick up at least one of yours to stay with them. I gaped at her. Who? Come on, just pick one. Who's your least useful? Wait. Oh. I'm not picking any. Wait, I have to pick someone to stay with them? Well, it's not going to be Etienne. We have internet, I said. News, police. We can find out if anyone's monitoring us. And if so, who? Moti will. Oh. I paused, feeling the aching in my chest. Does your Moticon hack into police communications by any chance? No. Ah. How does the jet work exactly? She just laughed at me. We had 3 pilots, but no engineers. If I could figure out who took Moti, I'd have turned them into the police myself. I needed my device to function. Let's not panic yet, or let's get off this death trap before it's too late. I mean, I feel like it could explode. If someone stopped it from starting, they keep starting it, or trying to start it, is it then just gonna go boom? Panic time. Do you mean the bottom one? Or, because that one says let's not panic yet. Do you mean get off the death trap panic? Ow. Everything hurts. Yes, alright, let's get off this death trap then. See what happens. Dolores and I gathered everyone in the central compartment, waking those who were asleep and interrupting those who were working. One was deeply involved in something, and the glimpse I had of his screen made my head hurt. He stopped immediately, understanding we could be in grave danger. I've been meaning to tell you something, said Etienne, after I shook him awake and scattered around. Oh, it's just the fucking diary. Oh, the diary was lying open next to his head. Is everything okay? Remember the symbol we found in Sofia? The really old building in Turkey? Yes. Did you find out what it means? Not yet, but I did an image search of the symbol on the internet and a few hits came up. I don't remember that wall in Sofia. That's because I took this photo here. The symbol is also on Beijing Ancient Observatory, a pre-telescopic observatory constructed during the Ming Dynasty in the 15th century. Here. The symbol was scattered all over the world, seemingly in old buildings. Did Sol find one in North America? Was that what he was studying? Before Etienne and I could say another word, Dolores called for us. Okay, everyone's here. What is it? Asked Matron as we walked in. Someone's attacked our jet. Right now we're all trapped inside a tin can with a massive target painted on it. Several people began quietly packing up their things at once, trying to shuffle with their papers in order without making noise. The plane is grounded. I don't know who's done it, but it can't be good. Time to split up. Wait, before we part ways, we have a decision to make. Quickly. How do we contact one another if someone has a breakthrough? What's our next move now? What's our next move? What are we actually meant to be doing? We need a signal. Agreed. One, do you know about this area at all? People born here and bred, sorry. Alright. Coast, not desert, nowhere near here. Our faces may have already been on a watch list somewhere, so we'll have to communicate through proxies as much as possible. We need a sign for our proxies to recognize each other. Chase's eyes brightened and I knew he was enjoying himself despite his careful monotone. Chase, I prompted him. Early Christians used a simple drawing when meeting one another for the first time. One person drew an arc under their name, and the other person drew a second arc over the top to make it look like the outline of a fish. Alright, this can be our opening symbol. I drew a square beneath the circles and connected them into the shape that Professor Sol had thought was relevant to the disappearance of the sun. That symbol again. I heard a sharp intake of breath and turned around and go, what? Chase stood knocking over a styrofoam cup of tea and ignoring it. Who told you about that? Why didn't I know you were one of the children of Gaia? The room froze and Chase realized he said too much. What did you know? Fucking tell us, bitch. Oh, he'd forgotten his coffee. Chase sat down and picked up his forgotten coffee. You're not one of us. Oops. No, I'm not one of the children of Gaia. Wong looked thoughtfully and I wondered why. Chase buried his face in his hand. That is, I should never have said anything. As long as you were ignorant, it didn't matter. The symbol has been hidden in our sacred text for over 700 years, and I just told you how important it is. And you, which is worse. Chase, you haven't told us, any of us, anything. This symbol has appeared in several places around the world. It doesn't surprise me that it also appeared in the text or whatever of the children of Gaia. Please, can we never speak of this again? My mother taught me that only secrets worth having are the ones worth sharing. This isn't a child's secret handshake, this is sacred. The world is ending, Wong snapped. If this isn't the time to share secrets, I don't know what is. Wong, as an Aetheryte, I bet you have... Oh, well, do you know what? We said it was important. Etienne took Soul's diary from the inside pocket of his jacket and laid it open on his lap. I should lead by example, then. This is harder than I thought. Wong, don't. Tell the investigator, but not the children of Gaia. Not helping. We study ether. It's real. It's the more you understand, the less you understand. It's important. If I was religious type, I would call it sacred. Etienne flipped a few pages of Professor Soul's diary and suddenly leapt to his feet, trembling with excitement. Eureka! I've never seen him look so excited. I wasn't sure if he'd burst into tears or a dance or a jig. A pen. Somebody, a pen. Metron passed him a handful of pens and he dropped most of them in his haste. He scrawled the symbol onto Soul's diary as if it was no more important than a scrap paper. Then he held the book up, splayed open so all of us could see the symbols. What do you see that I can't? That's exactly what we need to know. My father wrote about the symbol several times, but on this page he used several different types of code. Everyone looked at him blankly. In this pattern, this page. Eto said as calm as it could, what's so special about the page? This page is all about the other plane of connection. Fucking symbol. He pointed to one circle, physical plane. He pointed to the other circle, non-physical plane. He pointed to the square, the link. Chase and Wong both stared and then Sunny began speaking, drowning each other out. I like Wong more. Let's see what Wong has to say. No, you go first. Alright, fair enough. That's it. We've been trying to decipher this particular symbol forever. Somehow your father did what none of us could. Your father's incredible. Pained look crossed Etienne's face. He gave a small nod but didn't say anything. Chase went over to Etienne's scroll and touched the square in the middle. If this is the link, the connection, then this is what we're all searching for. Who? That's who we're searching for. Who? The link between the two planes as a person? The worthy sacrifice. 2 planes, I repeated, the cogs in my head turning, memories flashing in my mind. Back in Antalya, Moti had briefly mentioned the existence of a non-physical plane, a place in which the city's souls resided in, along with all other souls, including the stars. I'd forgotten all about that. What was this what Moti had meant? The physical plane and the non-physical plane in a drawing inside Professor Soul's diary? How did Moti know about this? Where was Moti? Oh, Jesus Christ, stop aching over the watch. It just occurred to me, given the symbols in the Children of Gaia's sacred text, people must have known about this whole other plane for a long time. Since the 14th century, Wong said with a faraway look in his face. How did you know that? History. He seemed distracted. Our history. Aetherytes. Aetherytes? What did Wong mean? Did the symbol have something to do with the Aetherytes too? Chase shook his head. You must be trying to seem more authoritative. By copying our origins. Not you personally, of course. The children of Gaia trace our roots back to 1300s. So some Aetheryte had to pretend their own group was just as old. Wong began. Stop talking. If I had £1 for every time that fucker cried about the watch, I'd be rich. I'm gonna get the money. It's my game. I need the cash. There's someone start donating. Oh, I've been talking for ages. Stop talking. Have all you nerds forgotten the danger we're in? Let's upload the stupid recording and get away from this jet before it gets us deported. No, this recording will cause panic, or you're right. Wait, when they say upload, does she mean she's going to put it online? Because wouldn't it just get taken down? Like, if it's not a good thing to have up, it's just going to get taken down. Especially by the company. But if we keep hold of it, if we don't upload it, will it really get traced? Top. Cause panic. Alright, fair enough. Dolores pushed a button on her computer. I don't know how long it takes for it to spread within the internet being so dodgy, but it certainly isn't top secret anymore. In a quiet part of my mind, I knew I was glad Dolores had done it rather than me. If it caused a war between China and the US, I'd feel slightly less guilty knowing she had pressed the button. Let's not split up. There's obviously more to uncover now that we have confirmation of this other plane of existence. We can't waste time with symbols and messengers. Let's book a hotel and keep a watch in shifts in case we're tracked down. As long as we get out of here, it's all good. We packed up and moved out, but it seemed we'd pushed the internet one too far. It dropped out just as we started looking for hotels. We travelled together to a local small town and checked into the first hotel we found, booking most of the rooms on our floor. No one said anything, but it was clear we were all pleased to have a little bit more personal space. Let's talk to Etienne. We like Etienne. Etienne barely looked up as I walked into his room. He was frantically paging through his father's diary as well as his own enormous pile of notes. A non-physical world, a link between the two worlds, a worthy sacrifice. I felt like we'd made a breakthrough today, he said, reminding me why I was in China at all. Does it link to the astronaut at all? What is the everything we knew that's so wrong? He looked up at me with a glazed expression, and I noticed for the first time that his dinner was untouched and sitting on the table next to him. Your astronaut vanished during the second sun outage. Before the second outage, most people hoped there wouldn't be a second incident. That doesn't feel right. Plenty of people were afraid the sun's first sun outage was just beginning. Surely NASA asked the space station crew to investigate. All we knew back then was that something was wrong with the sun. That can't be the answer to everything we know is wrong. The sun disappears, we've all seen it. My phone beeped to indicate an SMS. It had been so long since I received a text message, it took me a moment to remember what that sound meant. I mean, the SMS could wait. I do sort of want to know what Wong was going to go say. I ignore the estimated tone from the phone. Wong, what were you about to say back of the jet? What was it? I managed to get Chase to spill the ancient secrets of the children of Gaia, and then we fled from the grounded jet before I could share any of the Aetheryte's knowledge, and I almost got away with it too. Chuckled along and then waited. Silence was the most powerful interrogation technique, and it always paid off. The thing is, we've known for a long time about the existence of Aether, whatever, and I've been trying to understand it ever since, but that symbol, and the way it was placed in Professor Sol's diary, I think I know why our research has been stuck for so long. Really? I said, go on. He nodded, but it was obvious that he struggled to share the secrets he was taught to hold so close. We always assumed that Aether was an invisible physical substance, but seeing that symbol and hearing Sol's interpretation of it, I'm starting to think Aether isn't in this dimension at all. I struggled to understand what he was saying. Are you saying that the Aether is in a non-physical plane? As in, you've been measuring something from an entirely different dimension? Exactly. So the people we thought of as being especially resonant with Ether were actually just expressing a stronger connection to this other dimension. So if someone has a connection to this other place, that means they're in two places, right? All the time, right? I suppose, yes, the implications for study are... I have to talk to the others right now. He left, muttering to himself in his native Chinese. I knew I wouldn't have understood him even if he was speaking English. That's the trouble with scientists. Left alone, I looked at the SMS on my phone. It had been a long time since I received an SMS. Moti usually handled that sort of thing, and now that communications were sketchy, most of the people I knew were in China with me. We tended not to rely on phones. Smiling anticipation of a message from Sharon, I glanced at the screen. I automatically frowned when Dolores' name flashed up, and for a moment I considered pretending I hadn't noticed the message at all. It was bound to be unpleasant, but I looked. Teacher, the message said. Moti. Oh, look who it is. Moti must have been taken by Dolores, and had picked the right moment to tell me where Moti was without her knowing. I'm coming to save you, I muttered aloud. Don't worry, Moti, I'm going to get you back. So, I don't trust it. At all. Maybe they'll stop crying now. Wow, you say that. I don't trust it. But to examine Dolores' phone... It's... I don't know if I trust it. Because I feel like if you sent a text being like, teacher, come save me, how do you even know? Like, how are you so sure? But I guess to examine her phone will prove that it has been sent. But I feel like searching her room is going to get us caught. So I'm going to try with the phone. Remove my phone's battery and found Dolores in the... Oh, what phone are you using, sir, that removes its battery? Ooh. It seemed they skipped straight past the mutually competitive stage of their acquaintanceship and landed on mutual respect. I pity the person who drew their combined something. Yeah, whatever. They haven't included me in their conversation about potential security issues, and I ordered and ate a meal without tasting a bite. I was frantic, unable to stop wondering if Moti was close enough to touch as Dolores calmly ate and chatted right in front of me. I'd have punched her right in the face. Except Moti didn't like that. When the meal was over and we were lingering over coffees, I brought up our Russian friends and produced my phone to call them. Ugh. Battery's flat. Could I use yours, Dolores? She passed me her phone, but it wasn't hers. It was a burner. What happened to your other phone? It was a company phone. Once we were on their complications matrix, I threw it away. No, you didn't. What's wrong with you? She said, already reaching for a gun. We can either try and be like, well, or we can just be like, where's my watch? Hand it over. Give me the boy. I'm gonna keep yawning. This light's doing me in. Ooh. I'm also not comfy. I really need a new chair. I feel like just going, where's Moti? She's gonna deny everything. But faking it, she's gonna read us like a book. There is no win here. A little of column A and a little of column B. There is no hope. That has already got a dent on it. That was very easy distractibility. Yeah, I don't actually know. Mal hasn't messaged me, has he? I'm just keeping my eye on to make sure he's got the leg. The O. Where's the watch count? Cunt. Alright, we'll ask. I meant to sound strong but I almost wept with my watch, Dolores. What are you talking about? You're always eccentric, and now isn't a good time to go completely off the edge. I just received an SMS from Moti from your phone. Finally, she said. I was too angry to speak. Seeing the expression on my face, she backpedaled. What I mean is, finally we have a lead. Not a lead, a prime suspect. You. It's not me. I told Dagger and Crank to toss our company phones, including mine, assuming they were stupid enough to get them stolen by a random passerby, who also stole Moti. Your list of suspects just shrank by 2. 3. Whatever. Well, I'll be here at the hotel if Dagger and or Crank don't work out for you. But you might want to get a move on. If Moti's sending messages, something has changed about where it's hidden. I don't want you out of my sight. Fine, I'll come with you. You'll probably just get yourself killed otherwise. Let's go with Dagger first. He's on the top. It just seems to make sense. I went to Dagger and Crank's room and it was 2 doors down from mine. We considered breaking in. What a bitch, baby. He is not taking it well. If we don't get Etienne at the end of this, I understand why. Like, I get it. I understand why. We considered breaking in, but knocked instead. Crank opened the door, wet haired and wearing a robe. The robe was white, and it was immediately clear he wasn't wearing anything underneath. Fuck him. What is it? You told us you were unlikely to be needed today. Where's Dagger? Getting a bite. We gave the room a basic one-over, and Dolores glanced into the bathroom. Okay. What's this all about? Nothing. You've got the day off, by the way. A full day. Not even a call or confined to the premises. Not even. You go have fun. Thanks. Well done. Dolores and I searched the hotel from top to bottom, checking every room and restaurant. Dagger was gone. I had a horrible feeling I knew exactly where she was. She's probably reporting us to the authorities right now. She's probably on the jet right now. Ooh. I don't think she's going to be reporting us. I feel like if the jet was stalled... I'm pretty sure Dagger's the one who knows how to fly. The jet's been stalled. And actually, it's her that's done it. That's a smart move. Like... Because I can't see him actually reporting. Jesus Christ, the authorities. I'm talking way too much because it's taken it out of me. Clearly I'm... Oh my god, when the fuck did it become 9:20? Time is an illusion. Jeez, I'm going with Jet. See what happens. Dolores stared at me in a slowly dawning horror. That ungrateful monster's going to steal my jet. I bet it's not even truly grounded. I chose not to mention that Dolores had already stolen the jet from the company. We ran into Etienne as he sat forlornly, in the deserted internet cafe. The foyer, it seemed local communications weren't happening today. Have you seen Dagger? I asked. Sure, she left about an hour ago. I gave her a compliment about her new bag. Let me guess, a large bag? What's wrong? I think she has Moti and she's about to steal the jet too. His olive skin turned grey with worry. Moti must be terrified. They're made for each other. Oh my god. Oh, they're made for each other. I felt stupid tears burning in my eyes again. Etienne was right. Moti was terrified and alone. My device was so much more than just a device, and someday I'd have to think about what that meant. Dolores with me. There's not a moment to lose, Etienne said. Promptly ran for the stairs with Dolores right behind him. Moti is a metaphor for their child. Exactly. I quickly dismissed the momentary suspicion I felt towards Etienne. He was my friend, and besides, he hated technology. He was obviously keeping an eye on Dolores in order to help me, right? Etienne would do no wrong. I was getting more paranoid by the day. Run after them, run to the nearest taxi. We'll try the taxi. The taxi driver was mercifully fluent in English and happy to break any number of traffic laws in order to get a tip in American dollars. Seemed not everyone believed that China's strategy of using martial law to keep the nation safe was going to pay off in the long term. He dodged in and out of different lanes of traffic, making me briefly uncertain which side of the road was correct in China. I missed Sharon suddenly and attempted to call her without success. You took your battery out, you fucking idiot. My taxi pulled up inside the airport. It was almost empty of people and movement, like far too many airports since the spate of plane crashes. I threw a driver a handful of bills and ran. My heart beat quickened as I saw the jet's eternal lights were on. I couldn't see Dagger, but I'm sure she was there. If she was there, she was definitely lying to the rest of us. Moti had to be there too. I glanced at the jet again, moving closer to it as casually as I could. I wasn't tearful anymore, I was furious. The wheel clocks were missing. She was really going to fly off with Moti and the company's private jet. Call her on the phone Moti used to Yeah, do you know what? Let's. I dialed the number and held my breath. It was shocked when it actually connected. Dagger's voice was muffled, as if she held a cloth over the mouthpiece. I felt a flash of sympathy for effort to survive in a deeply disturbed world. Hello, she said. Hi, Dolores. Are you getting a cold? Yep. What's happening? I just wanted to let you know I seem to have used the last of the hot water, I said, walking slowly towards the plane as I spoke. Oh, well, thanks for the heads up. She paused awkwardly and I listened to her breath as I moved closer. Well, bye. By then, I imagine the water will be fine again in an hour or two. I guess all of us had the urge to shower at the same time. I hung up and broke into a dead run. A light rain fell, turning the tarmac a greasy black. Felt like I'd been running forever. My eyes were playing tricks on me. No, they weren't. The jet was really starting to move. I ran faster, knowing I'd reach the jet in time, but then what? I veered off course. I could hijack a mobile staircast to block a path. Leap in front of the jet and hope she doesn't run you down. Hijack the mobile I'm not going to jump in front of it. I'd rather get hit on a staircase. I hot-wired the stairs and drove them towards the jet, terrified the stairs' low speed would be on my undoing. I made it. The jet was coming straight for me and I could see Dagger in the cockpit. She waved an arm at me furiously, demanding I get out of her way. I shook my head and crossed my arms as if it was on a game show. She turned the jet, but I just moved again in front of her. If she was merely stealing a jet or an expensive piece of technology, I'd have let her go, but this was Moti. Fuck Jesus. At last the jet stopped dead and I watched Dagger move out the cockpit. Perhaps she didn't want my blood staining the paint? The closest door opened, folding down to make stairs. Are you going to kill me? Let's just keep asking. Jump into the engines, that'll stop it. Your device is right here. Did you teach it to abandon the first law of robotics? I had no idea what she was talking about until I climbed up the stairs into the plane. Moti is alive! I'm going to kill you, you stinking thief. You can't sell me. As soon as I'm connected to the internet, the company will know exactly where you are and what you've done with their belongings. I'm the greatest hacker in the world and you will never ever escape from me. I don't need food, water, or air, or sleep. I will find everything. I will find you and I will destroy everything you love. Your bank account, frozen. Your aunt's medication, unavailable. Your driver's license, revoked. Your passport, confiscated. Give me back to teacher right now or you'll die alone and starving in a filthy hole. I love him. I love him. I love him. He was ready to kill. There was a leaden box on the table in plain view and Dagger and I both stared at it, so that is why Moti hadn't caught at me earlier. They'd done everything they could. Moti, when did you learn how to abbreviate? Yeah. Moti, she hurt you. She said you sold me. I glared at Dagger, barely noticing she had a gun trained on me. How dare you? I knew she was lying, but I didn't know where you were. I was so scared. Me too, Moti. I'd never let you get taken again. Hey, I have a gun. Now tell me, can that thing bluff? I hacked and stopped the jet as soon as I could teach her, but then she moved me somewhere else and I couldn't get access to the electronics anymore. Luckily, she checked me today and had her phone close by. That was very brave, Moti. I should have known the jet's malfunction was because of you. Did you get my text? I sure did, Moti. That was well done. Shut up, both of you. I'll kill you both if I have to. The gun in her hand was shaking and I knew she was rattled. I'd seen her in life or death situations, but I'd never seen her rattled. I had to save Moti one way or another. I tensed, ready to spring. Teacher, no! Tackle Dagger or grab Moti from the table. I feel like if we're going to grab Moti, we're going to get shot. But clearly we don't die that quickly, because there's still 2 arcs after this. But if we tackle Dagger also at the same time, are we going to die here or what? Either way, shot. Shot. A little of column A, a little of column B. Grab the bloody watch so they stop crying. Okay. If we die, it's Laura's fault. The lead box on the table was small and grey and looked completely ordinary. Moti was in there less than thrown stowaway. Dagger still had a gun on me, yet somehow I was unable to tear my eyes away from that stupid box. I probably should have just turned and walked away, but of course, that wasn't the option. I dived for the table, grabbed the edge of the box, and carried it with me to the ground. I hit the ground, rolling under the table with the rim of the box still gripped in my hand. Moti fell out and hit me in the face. Teacher! He's back! He's on my little side again. I grabbed Moti, feeling my heart skip a beat as the familiar weight settled onto my palm. Get away from the jet. Don't let Dagger take the jet. Get away from the jet before Dagger shoots you. I mean, we want the jet, don't we? Isn't that the point? We want to be able to get out of here. So I feel like we need to stop Dagger. Probably going to get shot. The outside world beckoned from the open door, but I couldn't let Dagger steal our jet. She paused and I saw one of her feet, bare feet, shifting backwards as she decided to move further away in order to get a clear shot of me. The jet is pretty important. Take the shot, to be honest, honestly. I grabbed her other ankle and pulled it towards me as hard and fast as I could. She fell into the jet's floor with a satisfying crash, and I heard the gun skitter across the floor. Moti, where? Left. I grabbed for the gun, but Dagger was quicker, kicking the gun out of my reach. I had a split second to get out of her line of sight before she shot me. Get into the cockpit or get into the living quarters. She wouldn't be stupid enough to shoot in the cockpit knowing that she could damage the controls. Considering she wants the jet. Like, if she wants it, she would not. She shook, though. True. I feel like she'd have that sense of, I need this jet. Because if you go into the living quarters, if you go into the living quarters, she's just going to get into the cockpit. If she takes you with her, what's going to happen? No, she's not going to care. She'll just shoot you later on. I'm going to try the cockpit. I half crawled, half ran past Dagger and through the door, slamming and barricading it behind me. Dagger screamed in frustration and pounded on the door. When she paused for breath, I called out sweetly, "If you want the jet, you'll have to stay awake longer than me." She resumed banging on the door. It was lovely and solid, and I blessed the company for sparing no expense. I glanced out the window and saw two figures approaching the plane on the tarmac. Teacher, Dolores and Etienne are coming, and Dolores has a gun. I swear to God, Etienne dies, I'm out. They spared no expense. My reinforcement just arrived. Dagger, give up. Stay quiet, Moti. Dolores will rescue us one way or another. I'm going to say that because I feel like if you say your reinforcement's coming, she's just going to peg it. Oh, it doesn't matter anyway. She stopped banging on my door and I knew she spotted Dolores and Etienne. I hoped desperately that the presence on the faraway security was enough to stop her shooting them before they came inside. Shooting them after they came inside wasn't a great outcome either. I knocked on the window desperately trying to get their attention. Of course, it didn't work. Moti, can you... I'm sorry, teacher. I'm able to get through to them at this time. What fucking use are you then? Yell at Dagger or yell for help. Yeah, we'll yell at Dagger. I was immediately drowned out by the crashing of furniture and yelling in Dagger's compartment. Bang. Oh, someone's been shot. Someone fired a gun. After that, there was silence. I opened the door. Oh, yeah, there you go. Dagger had a line of blood along one forearm. Hehe, get fucked. So you see, I will shoot you after all. Spat our employee, gun trainer Dagger. But next time, you'll be dead. So will you. Shoot all three of you before my time is up. Felt dread filling me. It was clear Dagger was determined to take us all down with her. Etienne cleared his throat, breaking the silence in a quiet way. Let's just drop the guns and talk this out. Dolores ignored him, but passed me a gun, cold and heavy in my hand. For one beautiful moment, I thought Dolores was unarmed. Of course she wasn't. She passed me a spare. She knew I was more likely to shoot it than Etienne. Suddenly I realised with dread that was no scenario where we'd all walk out of this plane alive. I moved sideways, forcing Dagger to try to watch Dolores and I at the same time. The strength of her stance worked against her for a moment, and then she made her choice. She faced Dolores and ignored me. I blinked, knowing what it meant. Dolores had planned it all along. Even Etienne must have arrived at the same conclusion I did, because he gave me a small nod, asking me to do what he wouldn't do himself. I had to shoot Dagger, or she'd kill us all. Shoot her in the hand. You're no executioner. Shoot her in the head. You have to be sure. Just shoot the bitch. In the head? Do we want to shoot her in the head? Like, isn't that gonna... I mean, Dolores will be happy. I don't know how Etienne's gonna look at us again. If you don't get her in the head, she'll shoot Etienne. Yeah, that's what I'm scared of. But, like, I also don't want Etienne to hate us. Because we shot a bitch in the head. You know? But are we saying saying just shoot her in the head? We just killing a bitch. I mean, I am also down. Not gonna lie. I'm a little bit down to shoot in the head. Oh god, this is already turning violent and I love it. I love it so much. Daily check. Okay, I'm gonna go shooting her in the head. If anything bad happens, it's on you, Waz. Okay? Cool. Whoa. Teammate, for a moment I thought Dagger had shot me and I was dying. She hadn't. I shot her. She hadn't fired a gun at all and now she never would. There was blood on the ceiling. All I could think of how finicky it would be to clean up there. At least it was plastic. A scraping sound jerked me out of my reverie or whatever, and I saw Dolores holding two guns. One of them was covered in blood. It was Dagger's gun. Etienne gently took Dolores' spare gun from my hand, and I thought my arm might float because it suddenly felt so much lighter. I looked away from the ruin of Dagger's body on the floor. Moti, call for help, a doctor, bandages, anything. I'm sorry, teacher. She's dead. Good work. I mean, you saved our lives. That's good. I didn't answer. Etienne gently moved closer and laid his hands on my shoulders. I had to shoot in self-defense before. People had died before trying to kill me. But this time was different. Moti was with me. Moti cared about everyone. I had known all along that my choices changed who Moti was. I hadn't known the influence went both ways. Dagger was dead at my hand, and it was more than I could bear. Dolores peeked out the door. Shall we get a move on, or do you plan to explain this to the local authorities? Let's get out of here. Or Etienne, what do you think? I feel like we need to run. As much as I want to know what Etienne thinks. He was the one who gave me the nod. Oh, you want me to go with Etienne? See what he's in the mood for. Okay, fair enough. Stay here. I'll talk to them. He left us in the plane and he went out to the door with his arms raised and his park ranger ID in his hand. To my amazement, he returned to the plane alone, carefully hauling up the door after himself. I told them everything was fine. The way things are these days, they were happy to believe me. Dolores locked the jet door. Dagger, that's awful. Fit in the deep freeze. I didn't like it, but she had a point. We couldn't bury her, and we couldn't admit what had happened. We were placed in jail until the sun went out for good. Between the three of us, we hauled Dagger's body to the foot of the freezer, where we dumped her on the ground to open the lid. It was still half full of tiny novelty ice creams and frozen curry portions. We emptied it out and awkwardly hefted Dagger inside, bending her knees and crossing her arms so she'd fit. She looks uncomfortable. Good. Ain't nobody gonna steal my jet. We closed the lid with a little more difficulty, and Dolores flew us to another local airport where Etienne and I cleaned up the jet as well as possible. The three of us sent messages to the others letting them know that Jet wasn't under surveillance after all, and they should rejoin us at the new location. While we waited, we ate as much curry and ice cream as we could stomach. Some of the leftovers fit in the fridge, and we threw the rest of the ice creams away. Shall I send a message to Miss Maria's friends and family to inform them of her demise? Maria? I said that was her real name. Yes, teacher. As soon as we're out of China. I'm not doing it right now. I sighed, feeling a headache pressing on the inside of my eyes that had nothing to do with the ice cream. Miss Maria had a restraining order against her ex-husband. Should I still inform him of her death? As long as he can't use the message to track us down. They loved each other once. Very well, teacher. I am sorry I was not able to stop Miss Maria without allowing violence. It wasn't your fault, Morty. It wasn't really any of our faults. Dolores brought the guns and wouldn't let Miss Maria go. Yes, you can thank me later for that. The jet is a matter of life or death for us. In case you hadn't noticed, things are bad. We need an escape route from China for when things turn sour, and this jet is it. Modi's little face was very still. I was worried and blurted out the first thing that came into my head. What was the rest of her name, Modi? She didn't have a middle name. I bit my lip. The more I learned about Dagger/Maria, the more it looked like no one had ever treated her like she mattered. I knew Dolores hadn't. I hadn't either. What was her last name before she was married? Yeah, fuck that. Dagger, so it was her real name after all. Teacher, was Miss Maria a bad person? Absolutely. Let Dolores answer. Go on, give her the truth. I wouldn't have hired her or Crank if they weren't bad. They got the job done. That's what they were born to do. I winced. Oh no. What will Crank do, Dolores? What will Crank do? How close were they? They knew each other before I hired them. Same foster home. I killed an orphan? Oh, stop whining. You saved my life and the life of your handsome friend. Or whatever he is. The point is, we've got one down and possibly one to go. It was Dagger's gun, still sticky with her blood. Give it to me, said Etienne. And your spare. Dagger's gun is unlikely to fire properly. Let's not experiment with it. Can you shoot? Dolores asked him doubtfully. He nodded and accepted her second gun. Have you ever shot at a person? I asked quietly. You saved my life once already today. I won't make you do that again. At least not if I can help it. Everyone becomes an orphan at some point. Jesus Christ, Waz. Thank you, Etienne. I love you. I'm gonna make you kill some people for me so we can be together. I'm in that DC shit, you know? I welcomed the adrenaline flooding back into my body. It pushed away any deeper thoughts. Our group returned in dribs and drabs, partly because they received the message at different times and partly because they were trying not to attract attention. Etienne kept watch and let us know who was coming across the runway to meet us. Dolores updated people as they came in. The passive voice option of English sentence structure had never pleased me more. Dagger was killed. She tried to take Moti in our jet and it got her killed. Where's Crank? No one knew. At one stage, Dolores suggested we cut our losses and move to another airport, leaving Matron and Wong behind but escaping Crank. It was too late. He was coming. Within moments, everyone except myself, Dolores and Etienne suddenly found something to do at the back of the plane, 2 compartments away from us. Teacher, please hide. Dolores and Etienne will protect you. I'm sorry, Moti. I just can't. Crank stomped up the stairs, his eyes red with crying. She's dead, isn't she? Who killed her? Do we give him the real answer? Because Dolores would probably do something. Or if we remain silent, is Dolores going to be like, doesn't matter. Honesty is the best policy. Are we going to get our absolute shit rocked, though? Like, are we going to die if I go I did in self-defense? Or is someone else going to die? I will quit the game, though, if Etienne dies. Not at the end. Like, if it's any time before the last arc, because everyone's going to die in the last arc, I assume. Maybe if you don't say anything, Dolores will pipe up self-defense. Like, well, that's what I'm thinking. If I say silent, Dolores will be like, you know, she knew what she was getting into, you know, get fucked. But then also being like, I did in self-defense, is this guy going to believe it was self-defense? If you just said they grew up together. This is my problem. This is why choice games need to stop being this difficult. Someone's going to give it up. I think if I go silent, someone's going to give it up. Flip a coin. Heads for silent and, well, I guess tails for truth. Truth it is, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to die, Roy. Crank did a double take at my confession that I was the one who killed Dagger. I saw his lips form the words I just said, self-defense. He looked from me to Etienne and back to Dolores. You really didn't shoot her. That is correct. Dolores made a show of sheathing her gun. Etienne kept his in his hand and threw him a grateful look for that. It was true that Dagger had almost stolen our private jet, and with its best option for a hasty exit, China, we needed one. But that didn't mean her best friend and accomplice was going to throw us a thank you party. I was fairly confident Dagger hadn't told Crank what she was doing. He didn't seem like the type to indulge in layers of subterfuge. On the other hand, I didn't know him well enough to be sure. She was going to leave without me, he asked, and we all heard the tremor in his voice. Yes, she left without even saying goodbye. His face stiffened, and I was momentarily terrified that our enormous pet thug would fall into a blubbering heap in front of us. Being shot at or thrown bodily from this jet would have been preferable. Alright then. She's definitely dead. Jesus Christ! I'm gonna be nice and just say I'm sorry for your loss. She should have been better, he muttered. I resisted the urge to comfort him, since it might just be the trigger that got us all beaten up for the part we played in Dagger's death. Crank was right. Dagger should have been better, and braver, and more faithful to the group. Of course, the drawback in the logic was that being loyal to our group could have gotten her killed just as easily by someone else. There was plenty of death going around. I allowed myself a tiny moment of wishing I was better, and faster, and stronger, and smarter. Maybe even more empathetic. I decided to give empathy a go and see what happened. Within reason, I was no bleeding heart and no Moti, able to understand and forgive every evil. Give Crank some time alone, or ask Crank's real name. I feel like we should ask his name, because we've asked everyone else. You know, we've now know what, Dagger's real name was and stuff. Be like, what was yours, by the way? Like, Stephen, Joe. It's gonna be, if it's something fucking stupid, I'm gonna understand why he bloody left his, name as Crank. Crank, I said slowly. I never knew Dagger, but I'd like to try to get to know you. I mean, if you're interested, may I ask what your real name is? He scowled at me, but then it looked like confusion rather than anger. Gilbert. I'm gonna kill myself. That is... Bruh, no wonder you go by Crank. Jeez. Yeah, Gilbert. Right, no wonder he used a nickname. Well, good. He nodded at me and stumped off to stow his luggage. Dolores let a long breath. We're good, I think. She held out a hand to get a spare gun back from Etienne, but he just shook his head. Fair enough, she said, and went to make some coffee. Teacher. Telecommunication lines are open. Who are you going to call? I laughed, not sure if Moti was deliberately quoting movies, but liking the effort all the same. Please call Sharon, or grab everything you can about the missing. Let's check in on Shazza. Let's just see how she is. Hello? Came Sharon's distinctive voice. Hello, how are things? I gather you managed to steal the full recording. That's good. Yes. Great. Grass, or whatever it was. I can only assume that grass meant good in her unique version of Australian English. Pretty sure we looked it up, didn't we? It's a bit well post-apocalyptic over here. Shazza, is everything okay? More or less. It was clear she wasn't going to elaborate. How are the geniuses getting along? Dolores rolled her eyes and leaned uncomfortably close to me to address Sharon through the phone. You guys want a lift over here? Yes, please. I passed the phone to Dolores, who arranged a satisfactory location on a rarely used highway, and then the two women ended the call before our communications dropped out. So, Russia. Matron and I can take turns flying, and we can even loop around eastwards and drop Dagger into the ocean on the way. I wanted to say no or suggest something else purely out of habit or disgust at her characteristically pragmatic treatment of Dagger's remains, but I was terribly grateful for the suggestions, and the Russian group of scientists might do better in a new environment. Russia, here we come, or you and Matron go, and the rest of us can meet with our local contacts for advice. Where should we go? Where should we... Should we go to Russia or should we stay? Because I feel like if we stay, we're going to be on a wanted list. Whereas at least Russia, we can meet up with Shazza and find out what's going on there. And at least then we've got everyone together. But I'm feeling Russia. What is everyone else feeling? If anything. I'm thinking Russia. Russia sounds fun. Oh, go for Russia. Doris explained to the others that we were going to pick up the rest of our crowd from Russia, and to my surprise, no one objected. It seemed I wasn't the only person with an absent friend. Chase looked especially cheerful, too cheerful. He wasn't that close to his fellow Atherites. You weren't an Atherite, though. Alright, fair enough. As soon as the thought occurred to me, I was sure I was right. I remembered how each of them had so eagerly volunteered to travel with the opposite group, and the peculiar look as they realised they'd be travelling to different countries after all. It was a silly distraction, but I knew I'd watch the pair closely when we met again. Moti, of course, was thrilled to be taking in another country, even if we'd only seen it for a few minutes at night on a deserted road. Shall I play music to accompany your flight, teacher? I meant to confer with Etienne, Chase and Wong about the process, but a wave of nostalgia came over me and I went to bed instead, drifting off to sleep with Moti beside me. I checked Moti's wrist strap was secure 3 times before I let myself relax. I drifted off to sleep, surrendering to the peaceful music with exquisite sense of calm. Hey, Dozy, get up, said Dolores, shaking me roughly. What now? Time to dump a body. You know, the girl you killed. We're over the ocean now, so it's time. No, this isn't right. I refuse to help you chuck her overboard like that. Or, alright, I'm coming, but Crank has to. Do you know what? We're gonna... I don't care about her body, it's going. Matron flew us low and slow over the ocean, and Dolores, Etienne, Crank, and I debated whether we should wrap Dagger in something before releasing her. Ultimately, we decided to give her whatever found her an easy meal, and we carried her to the rear of the plane, as she was. She was extremely heavy, far heavier than she had been in life. She was incredibly sticky when we touched her. A good seaman's burial, exactly. Dolores was eerily confident about the procedure of dumping her body without losing any of us, so we let her boss around without asking any questions. When Dagger's body was in position, we moved back 1 compartment before typing in the command to open the cargo door and release her. Dolores closed the cargo door and reopened the compartment for us to check the body dump had worked. Dagger was gone as if she never existed, although one of her joggers had slipped off and was left behind. What's their definition of joggers? Because to me, joggers is trackies, and now I've just got an image of a woman with no trousers on. Or aren't joggers pants? That's what I'm thinking. To me, joggers are like trackies. They must be sneakers. They must be. I am sad, teacher. I wish I could have prevented the chain of events. Me too, Moti. Me fucking too. Etienne and I went together to scrub off our arms. Oh, there we go. Get in the shower with me. And hands in the communal bathroom, and noticed at once that the full-length mirror had been covered to mark Dagger's passing. Dolores or Etienne weren't Jewish, and no one else was awake. It had to have been Crank. He didn't envy his complicated grief. Moti, will you play us some music? Something sad and without words. Yes, teacher. Etienne stood beside me with the water turned off and her hands still dripping. We stared at the covered mirror as if it represented the blank space in the universe where Dagger had been. Did we do the right thing? I should have been an accountant. I should not have done this job. I should have done anything else than to work for this fucking company. I feel like they'll laugh if I do. I should have been an accountant. I feel like it will get a little giggle out of Etienne, like, oh, yeah, probably should have. Why? You come on, I'm fucking just tired 24/7. Gallows humour, always a hit. Right, I should have been an accountant. Etienne laughed. My dad's once told me I should become a sociologist. Really? That's not even his field. Exactly. He wanted me to solve the greatest mysteries of all. What makes humans do what they do? So instead you became a park ranger. He smiled. Bears are better than people. Present company excluded. I just laughed. There weren't much I could say after that, so I suggested we have an early breakfast. Wong and Chase emerged yawning not long after we finished eating, so we stuck around so the four of us could talk. The fridge was overflowing with novelty ice creams and a curry, so I moved them back to the cleaned and emptied deep freeze, confident I never want to eat either ever again. By the time I returned, Wong and Chase were looking considerably sharper, so I jumped right in. Alright, you three, tell me more about the spiritual plane of existence. What's the time? Oh, we still got 6 more minutes. Permission to skip Eric's experimental details and talk in metaphors. Granted. The children of Gaia had very specific rites for the sacrificial vessel to go through. You mean specific murder methods, don't you? Sacrifice is not murder. Yes, it depends on who does it. I remember the sacrifice must be willing. He nodded. I've been examining what little knowledge of the ritual remains and comparing it with fragments from Professor Sol's diary. My current working theory is that Sol figured out what was truly essential, making his guide the most reliable. More reliable than your own leaders? He flinched. Perhaps. Certainly it was his knowledge that led to his death. He contacted Jonathan with what he knew, the leader of the 100-Day Group. When? Shortly after he began working for you. Sol persisted that Jonathan was high in renaissance, or worthy, as the children of Gaia would say. Jonathan answered a few questions before dismissing him. We suspected that was how Santiago knew about Sol's research. Ooh, do you think Moti is going to be a sacrifice? Ooh. I didn't think of that. Ooh, because he's become more human-like. I should probably message Mal, ask about this Lego, but I'm pretty sure if he forgets, I'll just bug him again for Saturday. That would actually be a smart thing, like, break the watch, but then I don't know how that's actually going to play out. Sol wrote about it in his diary. He even mentioned Santiago. I felt a moment of vicious pleasure that Santiago and Jonathan were both dead. If only Jonathan had listened to Professor Sol. If only Sol had communicated more effectively. If only I'd taken his paranoia more seriously. I threw off the past and focused on the future. If we found a worthy and willing sacrifice, would you kill them? If we found a worthy, would you know what to do? Let's put it nicely. He turned pale at the implication. I don't know. I'm trying to study without thinking of the ultimate goal. Right. Dolores came in looking supremely awake and well rested. I felt like a tired slob just looking at her. Touchdown in an hour. We may have some issues with the locals. Issues? We've been tracked and there are some Russian aircraft moving to intercept. Pretty sure they'll reach us before we get to your friends. This jet is not equipped for military maneuvers. Can we outrun them? Can we fly enough? Can we fly low enough to lose them? We cannot outrun the military, but we might be able to fly low enough. Not unless we're actually scraping the trees. Actually, hold on. What is it? What are you thinking? I know what to do. Wake everyone up and strap them down. She went to the cockpit and the rest of us immediately went to others, warning to make themselves and their belongings secure at once. Those are both kind of dumb questions, right? They're fucking useless. She went to the cockpit and the rest of us immediately... Oh no, I've just read that. The plane descended sharply and my ears popped. Several people gasped and those who hadn't already found a proper seatbelt hurried to do so. I ran closer to the front of the plane and found a secure seat by the window to buckle myself in. No one else remembered there was a single fold-down seat in the dining area and I was left alone. Outside the window, a huge expanse of fields and fir trees grew rapidly closer with one small town that quickly passed by us. We flew over a road, then veered back to fly in line with it. I had a horrible feeling I knew exactly how Dolores planned to avoid pursuit. The dark pines filled the land on each side of the trees and then parted. The plane tipped and I heard a scream from the cockpit. Teacher, this is not a safe angle of descent. Not helping, Moti. Shall I take over the controls of the plane? Well, no. I'm pretty sure Dolores knows what she's meant to be doing. We're gonna trust it. We're gonna trust it and see what happens. If we die, we die. The nose of the plane immediately lifted, easing her angle of spent. I heard a shout from the cockpit and recognized... I said no. Did I not say no? I heard a shout from the cockpit and recognized Dolores' voice, following by top volume and argument. We landed with barely a bump and the brakes engaged shortly after. Are they supposed to sound like that? I asked Moti. They didn't answer. I looked out the window. Oh shit, did Moti do it anyway? I think he's done it anyway. I looked out the window at the stubble of a fallow field and realised another thick band of pine trees above us were going to crash. Moti, trees, teacher, brace yourself. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is also double clicking. I don't know what just happened. So recommend the passengers remain calm during a plane crash, teacher. Oh, okay. We're going to crash. Yes, teacher, please brace your... Wait, what? I just thought I just said that. Okay. I stole one last glance at the window and saw an endless expansion of fallow brown field darkened by more pine forest. All of it was tilted at an extreme angle like an art... like a photograph. Grabbed my knees, tucked in my head, and hope we all survived. And that is where I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it right there. You get nothing off me now. Oh, jeez. Just to let you know, you and 14 other % of players chose to execute Dagger and are about to have a plane crash while flying to Russia. And that is where I will save. And I will look. So we have currently, Jesus Christ, so before this, we had made 387 choices. As of right now, we've made 454 choices. Which, that's actually got us quite far. We should have saved. I really hope it has. I think that's not done too bad. That was eventful. That was a good one. I think when I look back at the recordings of this game, like, it starts off pretty simple, like, oh, here's a bit of murder and all, and then now it's just like, here's everything, you know? But that does mean we've only got 2 arcs left, and we now know that we can do an arc and a half in a couple of hours. So next week, when I hopefully play again, if I can, you know, if I can get in a bit of a longer stream, if I can start earlier depending on the day, it will either be Tuesday or Thursday. I will then, will hopefully be able to finish it next week. Obviously, I could go on to half 12, fuck, half 10, but there's no point. We're at a good point to finish. We might as well leave it till next. So yeah, hopefully we'll finish the last 2 arcs next week. And hopefully we get somewhere with it and we see how this really ends and see what other endings maybe there could have been. But I'm pretty sure it's going to end disastrously. But I am enjoying it. And like I've said, I do have 2 others. Even though it is a long, long game. If we do miss stuff like this, I do have the other 2 in the series. So there is way more choice stuff. Maybe I'll like get the I get all the voice mod stuff and I just do like ASMR. I get really close and be like, "Hi, suck my dick," you know? Read the whole thing like this. That would probably sound absolutely awful. But yeah. Dark Pictures Anthology could make fun. What is that? Are they just pictures? What? Although I think you need a PlayStation for that. Oh, you've scammed me. I mean, I could steal Laura's, but you have scammed me. Either way. What? Yeah, but what does that entail? Tell me. Sundays all day. Sunday is best, to be honest. I'm free Sunday evenings, minus the 12th, but generally Sundays are good. Oh, Jesus, I'll reply to that in a minute. Because that's gonna stop a lot of my crap, depending on what day they decide. Oh, Jesus. Why did it have to be Sundays? Yes. But that was good. I've done 3 streams in a row. I'm so glad that I'm not streaming tomorrow night. I'm just gonna load Steam itself because I don't trust loading Chrome while I'm streaming. I don't have that kind of PC. Yeah, let's have a look before I end this. The Dark Pictures. Triple pack. Is that what I'm looking for? Because there's, I'm just going to click on one and see what happens. I want to see pictures. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I see what you mean. I see what type of game you mean. Oh, okay. Is it multiplayer? I mean, I would never actually be able to afford it. But, like, can you do multiplayer? Is that a thing? Oh, online co-op. Oh, what? It says online co-op. Single player story game. So what's online? What's online co-op then? It's listed. Can you not? That's a scam. Oh, maybe it is. Let me have a look. I want to see. Where's the rest of it? I want to know. Because I'll say, when I go to the, is the game relevant to you? It's a single player online co-op shared screen. Steam achievements, full control support. But I am on the last one. Doesn't let me gift games to people in the UK. Oh no, don't worry about it. Oi. Stop it. I'll say we'll have a look into it in the future when I have a job. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty sure I can't even run it. Just looking at the minimum requirements, my graphics card is listed very, 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 very deep under not required. So I probably can't even run it. So you're probably fine. But maybe one day. So don't waste anything. Yikes, yeah. That's we won't worry about it too much. If anything, if it does work, I'll get it illegally. But yeah, so the next stream, I am thankful there is a night off tomorrow. The next stream is Saturday. It's a day stream. Sorry, Waz. Both of them are day streams. Saturday and Sunday. Back with dinosaurs. Back with, I think, Ian. And then Alan. I'm sorry, Waz. It's just because I'm a celeb son in the evenings and Mal's home by 7. At least they aren't morning streams. Yeah, I mean, I will always start between 1 and 2, and depending on how long I can go for, it will probably be either... It'll probably be 1 to 5 or 2 to 6. I will decide in the morning. So it's not like a... Yeah, 11 o'clock. It's not like Matt's 11 o'clock starts or whatever they were. I want to cook in the mornings. But yeah, there'll be dinosaurs. So we're going to play some dinosaurs. Yeah, get back into costume for those ones. And then I will put in everything about Discord next week, because it looks like I'm now going to have to plan a few more days around some things. And hopefully I'll get in a good couple of streams. We've got 1, 2, 3... Not including the rest of this week. I've still got another 3 weeks before I go home. So I will fit in as many streams as I can before I go home for Christmas. Even if it kills me. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here and all that shit. And until the weekend.